Welcome to Public Comment. I'm John Dunbar, former mayor of Yountville.
And I'm Alfredo Pedroza, a tractor mechanic.
And I'm Fearon DeWeese, co-founder and executive director of Napa Valley StreamFest. I'm also a director and producer with Ashello Productions.
We're going to talk about a little bit of politics maybe, but more people and whatever else it takes to put together a StreamFest.
What about tractors, John? Because I'm a mechanic.
You don't want to talk about tractors.
I know, I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
You just want yours to work.
Good point.
I'm going to ask you to tease our audience a
You
little
really
bit.
want to name
Before
drop.
we name drop,
You can't say that it's not for us, and then there's things that happen, and we don't support it.
those are the folks that haven't been coming to the Napa Valley.
That's what every vendor is trying to do. They're going on the road trying to reach different people.
Fearon, thanks for joining us here today. I know this is a pretty exciting time for you as you're about to launch your second StreamFest.
Okay.
And so we're going to get into some of those details pretty soon. But before that, maybe a little background about what brought you here to the Napa Valley. I know we first met years ago, maybe in the 2010, 2012 range. But you've done a lot since then. So tell us a little bit about what you've been up to.
Yeah, I am born and raised here in Northern California. So I'm from Vacaville, but have worked over here in the Valley since 2008. So I was with another festival here in town for 8 years as their executive director and helped plan all the events for that festival. I left in 2019. During that time, when I was there, though, I met my business partner, Juliana Folk. We really hit it off while we were working. And when we left in 2019, we kind of followed our dreams to start our production company. I wrote a TV series called Uncredited, which is loosely based on my life behind the scenes of running a film festival while going through IVF and my journey to motherhood.
Congrats.
So thanks. Yeah, we shot a 30-minute proof of concept. It was a pilot episode. We actually shot it at the Lincoln Theater, which was a lot of fun to shoot it here in Napa.
It was open back then.
It was. Actually, it was closed.
You got to use it.
We were the last week before the
good.
the lease went away. They kind of, propped open the back door and let us do our thing. We took that then kind of out on the festival circuit ourselves. So being out as artists instead of the creators and behind the scenes staff was a different experience. And just realizing that all the festivals kind of out there were still kind of stuck in that older generation of feature films and short films only. And so everybody was like, 30 minutes. It's not long enough to be a feature. It's not short enough to be a short. There wasn't really a home for it. At the time, there were only 2 TV festivals that were playing even series. They were really hard to get into unless you were Netflix. And so it kind of just left us being like, okay, how is there not a festival? Like, there's got to be a festival out there, right? That has like podcasts and TV and film and social content, and we're all watching YouTube videos. And we started doing the research, and there was not anything out there.
So nowhere else in the country that you could find?
No, I mean, like the one in New York has added, Tribeca's added some podcasts and content creators, honestly, in the last year since we last
Of course, after you did, yes.
And South by Southwest is just a giant beast where it is more of like a convention than I would say it is, like a film festival or that. And because we love this valley and all of the amazing, partners here and people that we had worked with for years, we're like, let's go back to Napa, but make it sustainable. Like the festival that was here it's a beast. We had 9 locations. It was all up and down valley. And even we had gone to Sundance. I had worked 1 year at Sundance thinking I'm going to Trojan horse it from the inside and see how the beast is done. And it was very corporate and it was a lot of work. Like, you spent more time figuring out what bus system you had to be on than you could actually go and watch films. And even we just went this year and we were able to see like 3 films in the full days that we were there. It's really hard to get into anything and do all of that. So it really just made us go to the drawing board and be like, not only how do we launch a new festival that incorporates all the things that we're streaming in today's world, but how do we make the experience better for the consumer that's coming to the event? Because it should be about human connection. And, we binge watch so much at home. It's like, how do we get that feeling of being in a dark room and being all together and experiencing something together and not just be like sitting at home on our couch?
With kids. So I'm very intrigued because me sitting at home is like watching something my kids want and then someone complaining about food or toys. So when you say dark room, privacy, quiet, I'm in.
Yeah.
That sounds very exciting, John.
So it's also a different format where you're providing folks with content experiences that are on different platforms. It's not like what people should expect to see in the theater, for example.
But I think it'd be great though, Fearon, to just talk about what is StreamFest. Like, just because as someone that is running around with kids and sports and everything, I don't know much, right?
Okay.
So I totally want to be candid. So I'd love for you to maybe just tell us a little bit about kind of what is
this
it.
This is the second year.
Second year. Yeah. We launched the first one last year. It's 4 days of celebrations of podcast, TV, film, social content. We have basically Thursday through Sunday.
Cool.
2 of those days, Friday and Saturday, are at Uptown Theater. And so it is 2 full days of programming. So one of the experiences that we created that's different than anybody else out there, it's you just have to buy a pass and show up. Because yes, as parents and busy people these days, I don't have time to sit and schedule out every film I want to go see and which one and what theater. And you kind of get that FOMO then of like, oh, I picked the wrong one, or oh, I found out all my friends are going to that one. You just buy a pass and you get to show up, and we curate the stage for you. So in our, what we call our AM binge, which is 10:30 to 12:30, you have a content creator that comes out on stage and does a conversation.
Cool.
So you get to hear about them. And then we watch 3 or 4 short films, and then we watch a pilot episode, and then we get to break for lunch, because some of the things we also heard back was like, there's never time to eat. And if you do take a break to go eat, you feel like you're missing out on something that you paid for.
Oh, that's a good point.
And so we built in these times and these blocks to go eat. And then you come back, we do our PM binge. And then we have a feature film each night that you get to, enjoy as well. So you're not having to plan anything. You just say, I'm going to take Friday off and go to this, or I'm going to go for the 2 days, Friday and Saturday, or I'm going to invest in the 4-day pass. And then 4 days includes all of our parties as well. So you get to join us at the car club. The Napa Valley Car Club hosts our push play party on Thursday night. We have Jonathan Scott from the Property Brothers. He'll be there. He's getting our Social Impact Award on that Thursday. Cool. And we have some great food and alcohol and wine, and that'll be a fun kickoff party on Thursday.
So you're basically flipping the standard model of film festivals, which is you've got a bunch of theaters, or you may, like a Sundance, which I attended a couple times. It was very interesting. Mm-hmm. It was a challenge though, because you did have to choose and hope you got it right, because you're getting on a shuttle bus or walking through the snow, whatever. I mean, I'm not going to try to discredit Sundance. I think what Robert Redford put together for 30 plus years was incredible, but logistically it was complicated.
It is.
And even when you are having to go to different cities for different, venues, now you're having the fans come to one spot and you're giving them all the different diverse experiences in that one venue, whether it's a theater or at the car club, where you have some open space that you managed to transform into a very cool experience. So that alone, I think, is going to attract a lot of people that don't have to worry about, okay, well, we have to get there to park, and then we have to go, we have to leave and buy X time to get somewhere else. Yeah. So who are your target audiences?
That's what I was going to ask, John.
And are they different from one day to the next? Because I know you have different content, and you have different kind of specialists in those contents, or is it no matter what day or evening you go to, you're gonna have a great experience?
You're gonna have a great experience regardless. And honestly, the beauty with a streaming festival is there's something for everybody. Like, same thing when you attended a film festival. You don't know the independent artists. You're not like the short films. You're like, oh, I know every single one of these filmmakers. They're all independent people you don't know. You're going because you know the experience of a Sundance. You know the experience to be introduced. And so, taking that aside, we still have 19 short films and series of independent artists that you do not know. But then we have the big staple names that are also coming that help draw those crowds to come. And you get to experience both. And, I know a lot of parents who are like, I want to come because I need to take a weekend off just to catch up on what are the coolest things that are happening in this entertainment industry, or like, I would kill to give a weekend to just sit around and binge watch something, but I can't do it at home because the kids are like, mom. But if I could say, I'm going away for a weekend and I'm going to go binge watch with all these people and have this incredible experience, it really adds.
And what I like about it, because I did go to that festival that was in town, and it just seemed very stale. And I'm not trying to be critical. It was just, it just seemed like it was one dimensional. And what you're describing to me now, it just seems more approachable, whether that's by design or not. It's just kind of what I'm feeling. Yeah. And something that is drawing me today. Right. And I think film is just hard, right? With the way of life we live, with social media, I think showing the different platforms and mediums, I think that's attractive to people. Right. So I like the question you're asking, John. I think the follow-up to that, do you think it's locals that are going to be attending, visitors, or all the above?
Last year we had a majority of the guests from LA and outside of Napa.
Wow.
I will be honest. I love this community, but I think there are so many things that pop up in this community that
Totally.
it's always like, we'll see how they do the first year and
Yeah,
then we'll
that's
maybe
fair.
show up, which is hard because you want people to come, you want people to see it. I think everybody did see it last year, but via social media and was like, oh, I should have gone or I wish I would have gone. And, we had Jason Segel last year, which was amazing and things like that. But I'm hopeful that this year, we are pushing that out again and we've got a great lineup. But we need this community to also show up. It's a big theater. When you have Uptown Theater to fill, there's so many people that are coming from outside the area, which help us fill the hotels and do that type of stuff. But we also need this community to come and fill out that theater.
Before we get into because I absolutely want you to name drop, because you have some very impressive names, but I just want to tell, first of all, we are actually going to drink this. We're not just looking at it.
Yes.
But I want to toast you for taking this risk. And,
Thank you.
And you and Juliana just saying, we know that there's an opportunity here that we want to take and not wish we had. So thank you for doing this.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Thank you too for
And
giving
we
me
look
a
forward
platform.
to when we're done here, we're going to make sure to buy tickets. But tell us about your lineup. I know when we're recording this, you've just released some more names, and they're very impressive, current, big, high-profile names in the industry. And there are some that, frankly, maybe it's because I'm not as efficient in my content online.
Look at you being politically correct.
I know, based on your history with you and Juliana, I know Michael Fox is one of your people who is fantastic. I've known him for years now. Also, you've really been able to cultivate and land high-profile people in all these different platforms.
Yes, it has been, it's somewhat an easy sell when it's Napa. When you're talking to agents and publicists and you're inviting them to come to Napa, it's a lot easier sell than, anywhere else. So that does help us. And I am
bad-mouthing.
Firm believer in my career. It is all about relationships. And even, it takes a lot to maintain relationships. There's people you can have a phone number in your phone for years. And if you go to reach out to them again, they might not respond because they haven't heard from you in years. But if you keep those relationships alive, by anytime I go to LA, I would reach out to them, ask them to have lunch. I didn't know what I was planning. I just knew someday I would need this contact again. So that really has always been my motto. And, I've from the past film festival, just keeping those relationships alive and, going through my own production company and bringing those types of things, but now giving them a platform and an option to come has been why we get these such amazing people. They not only just know me and my experience and what I can create and the parties and events I've done in the past, they know that. So it was an easier sell than just starting fresh from
cold
the ground. Yeah, exactly.
So before, I'm going to ask you to tease our audience.
You really want to name drop.
Before we name drop, you just were touching on your production company, and I'd like to hear how you put this whole thing together. And it isn't, we talked about how you limited the number of venues, but there's still a lot of production that goes into this.
100%. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how you created this experience, and then eventually we'll talk about the high profile names that you have participating.
Yeah. With our, TV series Uncredited, which we're still out pitching and trying to get made, which is amazing. We launched Ashella Productions, which is our production company. Since then, we've produced a couple short films and some other projects and continue to build our slate with that as well too. So the festival itself is produced and ran under Ashella Productions. We launched our nonprofit, which is StreamFest Society. And what our nonprofit mission and kind of that side of it was, I was 42 years old when I directed my first project and thought that taking the knowledge of directing and producing festivals and events for 25 years, it's literally kind of the same mentality of directing and producing film. You have, your vendors as your crew and all of that stuff, but it was not met that way in Hollywood. It was very much, how many IMDb credits do you have? And what other projects have you done? And it's impossible to get an agent, and it's possible to get anything to move your career forward. And so you just feel stuck, and you're in your 40s and you're like, what do you do next to get to that level? And so we kind of were like, I'm going to drop it, but we said, fuck it. And let's just throw a party in Napa, invite LA to come up here.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
It's a good line.
Invite LA to come up here, wine and dine them, make these connections to help, ourselves, but also help mentor and create opportunities for others like us. And the first year worked. We're in rooms that we've never been in before, talking to Netflix and Apple and all of them, just because we took a risk. And it's scary and it's hard and it's a lot of work because we have a very small team right now. But at the same time, like I said, we're in rooms that we never were before. And we launched our first mentorship program this year with the big pivot. So for those that are 35 and above, pivoting into or within the entertainment industry is what our nonprofit's about.
There's still hope for you, John.
Well, even you guys though, pivoting into podcasting. That's something you guys did not have on your bingo card, I'm sure.
We'll be turning in our entry.
But I got a question though, right? Because I remember, when Bottle Rock was happening, there's a lot of concern around, do people really want to come to Napa for music? And hearing you talk about, film and podcasting, you're bringing a different group that may not come for wine, but once they taste it, they come back. Yeah. Right. So what's been because you've done this for a while, right? Mm-hmm. So do you still see that desire for people to want to come to Napa and still get excited around it?
I do. I think, especially I say Napa's the backyard to LA. It's like, go to the snow where it's cold, or like fly to other places in the middle of nowhere when they can just get on JSX and be up here in an hour. It's
better than
an easy sell.
A commute in LA.
Exactly. It's an easy sell. And when we have amazing dinners in our wine cave at Shady Brook Estate and things like that, it definitely sells. I think the hardest part, and getting into the political side of things, it's just the hotel accommodations and the pricing of hotels, plus then the wineries, eventually all kind of raise their pricing for tasting. So when you come and it's like, I want to go to this event, but then I also want to go wine tasting, and then my hotel costs, you're at like a $2,000 to come, for a weekend here, sometimes with different locations and activities and things like that. So it's working that through and how you price that correctly and what that audience looks like and who can afford that and who can, and having different demographics, but then also being able to provide a $125 pass so that the community can come out for a day and experience it and things like that. It's a lot of work, and I built, the patron circle in the past, and we've done different things like that in communities. So I think it's just working with this community.
Is there a time when you were putting this whole thing together last year that you and your team had an aha moment of, we're actually going to pull this shit off? And
there's a lot of this.
That maybe before you had the inaugural, and then afterward, it's like, that just happened. Were there moments like that you could actually exhale and appreciate all that you accomplished?
100%. Julie and I laugh constantly. At least both of us aren't ever having a meltdown on the same day. So it's like one of us is, and then she's like, get your shit together. We're doing this, and I have to do the same for her. And so, we work really well as a team. But we talked about this just a little bit ago. You get to that month out and you're like, okay, everyone keeps saying, ticket, everyone's last minute and they'll buy, but you're like, are they going to? Is it going to come through? And you have to just wait. And that's terrifying, And last year we were very lucky. We had 2 incredible donors come in at the last second who said, I want to see this succeed in this community. And they wrote us enough to cover the cost of the whole festival. And that allowed us to be able to give out tickets and get people to come in and experience it. So that, there's those angel investors out there that really were the ones that were able to help us put that on last year. And it was hard. It's hard selling a festival when you don't have any photo or any video and you can just have to tell people. So last year, that was the experience of, but it's going to be great. Yeah. And they're like, I don't see any photos or videos.
You have the validators. But look, I think you're doing something that's cool, right? Because part of Napa is like, we just don't want to taste wine, right? So being able to say you have a different festival that brings a different experience, I think that's cool, right? But I also think, this is my pitch to the locals, is we always bitch that there's nothing to do.
Exactly.
Well, then step up, right? Because you can't have it both ways. You can't say that it's not for us, and then there's things that happen, and we don't support it. Or you're taking on massive risk, which we can all relate. Me being a tractor supervisor is a huge risk because things can go wrong. But I say that jokingly, but here you are taking a huge risk, having this breakthrough moment, and you're doing something good for Napa. So I do think, working with, organizations to put the message out. And I think the wine industry should be your biggest supporter. Same with the tourism economy, right? because you're bringing butts to the seats.
Yeah.
Anytime when we
did partner this year with the Napa Vintners Association.
Good.
And we're doing a small invite through them on Thursday morning, which was an added thing. And it is a lot of our influencers like Adam Rose and Mamrie Hart is coming and a couple others. And it is a conversation with wineries, because a lot of the wineries we've worked with have been kind of like, how do we work with influencers? And some of the smaller companies who don't have these massive marketing agencies and things like that, I know from working with a few of them, they get called daily with like, I'm an influencer. Can I come, take some pictures of your wine and like get a thing? It's like yes. And so, how do we educate them properly on these influencer agencies that are out there now? And they're all kind of like actors basically that you can book and get more than just come and do a free thing. So we have a very nice, 2-hour kind of seminar on Thursday morning through the Vintners. So if you're a member of them, that invite went out and you can sign up through that as well too.
What's coming to mind though, Red, is the issue of wine and what wine is going through. And I don't think it's as big as everyone makes it out to be, but that it's just our grandparents drinking. Well, here you are that you potentially have a different crowd of, you haven't name dropped yet, but we kind of, I think we're all piecing it together.
We're building.
We're building to that peak.
Building the suspense.
But if I'm a winery and I can get my wine featured or discussed as part of this group, they may have access to a different audience. Okay. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And I think there has to be some more opportunity with the vintners to step in, right, to promote that. Because that's what every vintner is trying to do. They're going on the road trying to reach different people. Holy shit, you're bringing them to their backyard, right? Like there has to be a connection.
I also like, to add on to that, I like the fact that you are also kind of reaching out to a broader demographic of people. So, we have some film festivals all over the California and the US. We have the live music entertainment that we've managed to really, whether it's Festival Napa Valley, Bottle Rock,
a lot of music in this town.
We have, and it didn't used to be that way. And, Live in the Vineyard and all those experiences, they are very, I would say, focused. Bottle Rock is different because those other ones are pretty much focused on the same consumer that's already coming here for the food and wine experience. Now you're talking about multi-generational and also some folks that probably have never come to the Napa Valley, but they are aware of the not only the influencers and some of the other streaming folks and directors of the short projects. They're familiar with that because they're now watching things on their phone. They're streaming their own stuff. They're certainly chatting about it all over the place. And so those are the folks that haven't been coming to the Napa Valley. And the wine industry and hospitality is also trying to figure out, how do we attract these folks? So you're kind of giving them an example of, these folks will come here if you give them what they're looking for.
And even last year, I love to give this example, but like Adam Rose was probably our biggest attraction last year, who's blue cardigan guy on social media, does the funny faces. Like he honestly was a bigger draw than Jason Segel, which was surprising to me. And every demographic, even I was at Mustard Festival this weekend and people were like, oh, Adam's coming. Like just so excited. But Adam was somebody who, as a content creator, like most of the deals that they get or they're contacted by, especially for like other festivals, is like, oh, we'll pay you to come cover the festival, right? Come cover this. And he was very much like, I don't do this unless I get paid and And we're like, we're not asking. We want you to be on stage and treat you like an artist. Like, how ddid you create the blue cardigan guy? What is your story behind that? How'd you get started in this? And he was like, oh, yeah, we want you to be one of our artists on stage. And the person, like, that changed. And he was like excited about it. He came, we gave him the platform. He was on stage, all of that. He met so many people through our festival. Like, he's our biggest fan. He's like, I'm coming every year. Like, he organically posted on his own social afterwards, talking about how amazing of a time he had. And do you want to see more things like this? Because again, everything he had posted was just his, persona. And it was like, here I am doing this and being, on stage. And so when we give those creators an outlet where they're not just a hot commodity or a piece of meat to like, come film our festival. It's like, no, I don't film it. Don't film it. I don't care. Come up on stage. We want to hear how you created this. That changed the world. And they are a big draw. And it's across all ages. Like I said, it's not just the younger generations. And a lot of time people too are constantly like, oh, I don't listen to podcasts. I'm like, okay, do you remember like the onstage conversations when we would do like a tribute award or something? Oh yeah, those are my favorite part of the festival. Okay. Well, that's what a podcast is. It's them on stage. It's just being recorded. They're like, oh, okay. And, last year we had, Was I in a Cult podcast? And people were like, yeah, I'm just, I'm not really interested in podcasts. And that was, again, they watched it and said that was one of their favorite highlights of the festival.
It's so funny how people react with a title or a concept that they think they know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
And part of that is the newness of it. The fact that it is kind of breaking ground a little bit to bring people to those experiences. And to, frankly, to see these people are real people,
right?
Which is also a little challenging these days where you're not sure if the content creator that's online is real.
They show up and they're super shy.
Or AI even.
So you want to get to the build-up, John, right? Because
we've had one big name drop already.
But I think people should know.
Nice little rollout.
Adam is coming back. He's very exciting.
John is very excited too.
Our other two content creators that are very popular is Amanda McCants. She does the really funny housewives and all the characters. She's gorgeous and a lot of fun. She'll be here on Friday morning. And then our other one is Becky Robinson. She'll be getting the Make 'em Laugh Award. She does the entitled Housewives. She is hilarious. Have you not seen her with the visor? And she's always drinking the wine. Oh my gosh.
I think my wife
has.
I know, everybody.
She's the one in the golf cart.
Yep.
Oh, she's hilarious.
She's hilarious. She'll be here on Saturday and she's going to be maybe sticking around on Sunday and doing we might see entitled Housewives show up and do some character stuff there.
But if someone wants to buy a ticket, how do they do that? So
on our website, Napa Valley StreamFest.com. And they can buy, like I said, we tried to make it very affordable. Our goal is to get this theater filled. We have 800 seats, and when it's sold out, it's sold out. So, Uptown sells out often with different who they have and things like that. That's where we know this festival as it grows. It'll be the first 800 to buy, and then when that's sold out, it's sold out. It's not like a festival where you just continuously keep growing and you keep selling tickets because people will be standing in line trying to get in and things like that. It is, we want it, every single person who buys a pass gets to walk in and watch that stage. So that is how many tickets we have and how much this festival have. We also have some fun things. We have closed down the street in front of Uptown this year. And so we have kind of our red carpet and everything out there.
The boot camp.
Yes. And then we'll have food trucks and some kind of fun out there for our base camp. Base camp. Yes. And then our big title names, we have Mariska Hargitay coming from Law and Order, who apparently has some major fan base. We have one person flying in from France just to come see her. Bought a day pass for Friday.
Wow.
She's got a huge draw. And so that'll be Friday evening. And then right after that, Conversation on Stage, which is with Awards Chatter podcast. We have the If These Walls Could Rock, which is this really fun documentary on the Sunset Marquee down in Hollywood and has literally every rock star you can think about in that movie. But we have Nancy Wilson from Heart coming and Chris Robinson from Black Crowes. We'll do the Q&A for that film on Friday night. Saturday, we just announced Bill Lawrence, who's the creator of Ted Lasso and Shrinking and Scrubs and the new show Rooster. So he'll be here for an onstage conversation with Scott Feinberg from The Hollywood Reporter and Awards Chatter podcast. And then right after that, we have Krista Miller and Ted McGinley from Shrinking. Are you guys Shrinking fans?
Yes,
you watch Shrinking?
We are. Love it. And they are, they're husband and wife on the show. And
they are.
The whole cast of Shrinking
is amazing.
It's
amazing.
We just finished
Harrison
season.
Ford.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford is one of the higher profile names, but it is so creative and so fun. And the resume that he has with Ted Lasso and Shrinking. We're also watching Rooster now.
I've not started it yet, but that's my homework this week.
So Jerry and we are actually looking now for a new series to check out.
Okay.
So that's partly why I'm so aware of some of the folks you have coming.
You're in the know, John.
But Kristen and Ted, I mean, they're just legendary in themselves. Like Ted was I watched on Married with Children growing up on, he's the crazy neighbor on that show too. And
he does keep playing a crazy neighbor.
I know, he does.
Pretty
It's
well.
great.
I dig that show.
And she was a crazy neighbor in Cougar Town too, which was fun.
Can't say that I watched Cougar Town.
Oh, and
I'll
Scrubs.
admit.
She was on
John's
Scrubs
gonna
too.
watch it tonight.
We're going to stick to Shrinking. And
That was fun.
Luke Tini is also coming from Shrinking. He's one of our breakthrough artists. So he's the neighbor who lives behind them and the chef. So he'll be here on Sunday for a breakthrough artist. And we have Sarah Ramos will be on that as well. She's on Chicago Med and the Napa Boys and has been in a bunch of things as well. Parenthood, if you ever watched that back in the day. We have Thora Birch, who was in all the Hocus Pocuses, and she has a new movie coming out. And Jesse Garcia was in Flamin' Hot. And Adam will be honored that day too. So that'll be a lot of fun on Sunday.
Napa Boys is going to be one of those things that, some people find funny. Some people find it really offensive. It's like, okay, here we go. We're going to see how this influences people and their impressions of Napa Valley wine country.
No, there's some funny moments for sure, but yes.
Good spirit.
So I'm still kind of curious about that time that you experienced. Maybe it's after your first year where you were motivated to do it again. And you could have been like, that was great, but it was so much work. It was so hard to do. We don't know that we could pull this off, but I'm sure you had to start right away into this year. So what was that? I'm going to keep pushing on the aha moment, but also have you tweaked things on what you're doing that you learned from season one and how you're doing it after you had that moment of celebration and relief, and then you got back into cranking?
Yeah, I think, it's the calm before the storm. It's like the craziness. Okay, the money came in. Okay, we're putting this on. Okay, we're doing this. And now we're there at the festival and things are going good. Obviously, we wish we had a bigger support from the community and we had 800 people in seats. I think we had about 450 last year, so half the theater. And, it's like, okay, we're good. We're doing this. And we went through it. And it honestly, like just the buzz, everybody left like it was summer camp. I mean, it is such a different experience when the same 450 people are going through the whole festival together. Like everybody, you watch the same thing. Do you know how easy that is to have a conversation now with a stranger to be like, what do you think of that? Because you all just watched it together versus, oh, I didn't get to see that. Or, oh, you were at that screening. I was at this one. So everybody through the weekend just became friends and they're making a movie together now. And she's opening for her on tour. I mean, there's so many connections that came from it that it was like, we have to do this again. Like everybody was just like, I'm coming next year no matter what, and da-da-da-da. And so, we built a life that we also wanted, which is important, that work-life balance, right? So for us, my kid is off in the summer and her kid is off. And it was like, how do we build this where it's like, okay, January through May is crazy town and we're working and we're grinding, and then we break and we get the summer off with our kid, and then we come back and now you start building up. Our tickets went on sale September, October, and we take a little break during Christmas and then we come right back and do it again. And, that was motivation because we were able to get that break. Like you have to walk away from it and then come back to it. Otherwise
recharge.
It is. Yeah, exactly. That recharge and figuring out like, okay, do we want to do this again? And there was a lot of that. Like, it's my full-time job. And, Julie also loves to act and she's down in LA. So, it's finding that moments between us.
So one of the things is, I remember when Bottle Rock first started and it took over kind of the end of May. Yeah. And you're in April. Yes. End of April, basically. Which I think is one of those times that isn't totally packed with things like summer and especially harvest, fall. Yeah. There are events every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that it's just overwhelming sometimes. But you managed to find a 4-day period in April, which I think is really helpful in terms of it's a little bit less busy in the Valley. But is that cycle? Does that work because of the industry and that people are now releasing projects, or is this like this is the weekend we could get uptown? That kind of practical issues.
Weather-wise, we didn't want to go January, February, March because of rain. So then you have April. May is, I just say owned by Bottle Rock. So it's like just even people money-wise, like, oh, I got to save up because I got to buy all my Bottle Rock stuff. And okay, wait, this is April. I can do April. summer's crazy here. So you don't do anything in summer. And then, the fall, we had the other festival here at that time. And for us, when we started talking to the industry, Emmy voting starts the first week in June. So May becomes the for-year consideration month where in LA, you see the billboards everywhere for all the TV shows and all of that stuff. So when we started talking to people, they were like, oh, that's great. Like April could kick off, that last weekend in April could kick off the for-year consideration, which is how we got Jason last year and things like that, especially with the shrinking. Like they're pushing that for Emmy in voting. So the more times they can get those people out, the more times people start seeing them, the voters start going, oh, they just got that award at StreamFest, or they just got this. And it just kind of helps plant the seeds. We ran up this year against a couple things that are happening down in LA. But that's the beauty of what we have. It's like we don't have to just go after TV stars that are going to be up for Emmys. Like we can find celebrity chefs. We can find like the Property Brothers are huge. Like there's so much that we have a pull to do where we're not just a TV festival and you have to go after TV stars, or we're not just a film festival and you have to go after, so we could have done like a whole Housewives. Like we could do, all those that won't be up for Emmys type things and things like that. So
that makes it fun too.
It does. It does. It gives us an opportunity, and we're just making all those connections and have a really great connection with Apple TV. They're so easy to work with, and we love them. And, started working with Netflix and a couple others. So
that's pretty huge.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not up and comers.
No.
But
we do got to wrap too, John.
Yeah.
I see your mind is working.
It's at least in part, if not significantly strategic.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
The timing of it.
But it makes
I do
sense.
think it plays into a time of year for Napa Valley when you can get here and have
the weather's still great.
I mean, we're dealing with
yeah.
80s, 90s in March.
Well, that's not normal.
So it is not normal.
But it complements the calendar in a very good way. Right?
And even if you're coming for Battle Rock, you can still come a month before and come back a month later, so it gives us, I don't know. It's a nice time. We'd like to keep it that
and
way.
And locals are here year round.
Exactly.
So you have multiple levels of passes, day passes, all inclusive.
Day passes are $125. So you can come for the full day on Friday or Saturday. You get from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. There's no lines. You can just walk into Uptown and watch anything that's at Uptown that whole day. I mean, today you can't even go out for lunch for about $125 in this town.
Very
so
true.
You get all of that programming, all the tributes. You get on Saturday, you get to see Bill and Krista and Ted. On Friday, you get Mariska and our Nancy and Chris from that feature film. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of fun. And $125. And then you get the 2-day pass if you want to do both those is $225. So you get to come for all day Friday, all day Saturday. I did not mention on Friday, we have this really great new event that we added this year because, again, how do we change the mentality of Napa's just for wine drinking? We added the wellness experience this year. So we have the Sabu Wellness Experience on Friday afternoon at the Napa Valley Car Club as part of that ticket for the daytime pass or the 2-day pass. And we have Dr. Janelle Kim, who's an incredible influencer and wellness expert. She's leading a panel discussion on burnout in this industry and how do we manage and deal with burnout. And then she'll do a nice little sound bath and a little, education on that too. And then last year we did this incredible fun dance party and we just did a sing along where we had Leah Kanar, who's an incredible comedian, kind of help us in leading that. And it was just one of those all vibes out and everybody just dancing and
I want to see
having
John.
a great time.
I'll pay for that.
It was so much fun. And so we're doing that this year in a bigger capacity, and that's included in the daytime pass on Friday or the 2-day pass for that as well. And then our society membership, which are those that really help support our nonprofit mission. And that 4-day pass starts at only $649, and then $400 of that is a tax deduction. And it gives you the party on Thursday at the Car Club. We have Jonathan Scott that day. And then we're up at Shady Brook Estate Winery on Sunday, which is just gorgeous. It's a beautiful setting and lots of food and great wine. And there's the conversations with the breakthrough artists there, which is a lot of fun. And that kind of ends the day. But you get both those. And then the 3,300 pass is our biggest pass, but that you get to go have dinner with Bill Lawrence and Krista and Ted and sit in the beautiful wine cave, and a lot of our influencers and all of that will be there.
Stories.
It's an intimate dinner for 60 people, and it's a lot of fun. But it also helps us financially put this festival on. So we'd like some more of those.
Tell us, the audience, one more time, where to go to get tickets.
NapaValleyStreamFest.com. You can
And the
find
dates
all the
are?
different paths, April 23rd through 26th.
They're going to
So
be
it's
showing up on
coming
the screen some.
I know, but I
Yeah.
wish
It's in
one
one
reinforce.
month. So
Cheers.
thank you
Well
for having
done.
me.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you
Cheers.
guys.
Well done,
and we
John.
hope to see you there.
Absolutely.
And we have a discount code for you guys, which we'll put up on screen right now. But yes, public
Even,
comment.
even better.
10% off all passes.
Now you can still fix your tractor.
Oh, that's true.
Alfredo, I'm impressed with Fearon, her passion for the arts and her dedication to creating something that's really unique and providing it to us here in the Napa Valley.
Yeah. And look, when I made a comment about the film festival, I wasn't trying to be critical, but it was very one-dimensional, John. It looked like, and again, not being critical, it just looked like the normal person that comes to Napa. And I think what she's doing by creating, a different experience with different audiences and different guests, that's what Napa needs. We need diversity. We need people to come to Napa that necessarily don't like our wine, but once they taste it, they'll come back, or when they taste the wonderful food that we make, they come back for that. She's doing that, right? Her and her team are doing that. So to me, I'm like, we're fucking lucky to have someone be pushing that out. And it takes risks, as she said, but I wish her all the best, because I think that's going to help Napa diversify. I
really wanted to emphasize again the fact that this is reaching different audiences.
Exactly.
Because, she mentioned some folks. I'm like, I'm not sure I've heard of that content creator.
You were nodding your head like you knew.
Of course I did. I was being polite. But, that's also what we have been talking about, wanting to have happen in this valley. We've seen it with other forms of entertainment, certainly with music, live music, and that kind of thing. And now we're seeing taking creativity into creating a business for different platforms and different content that is attracting younger audiences.
Well, when she talked about, partnering with vintners, I'm like, not only would I would be partnering, if I'm the vintners, I would be sponsoring this. Like, here you have vintners, John, that are trying to get in front of different people. I hear from vintners that are going to comedy clubs because they want to make wine approachable. I hear vintners going to, sports games and country clubs, all the above, to get wine. And here you have someone that's bringing a different group of influencers with reach, by the way. How are we not blowing that up? Like, it's in your fucking backyard. So yes, industry, wake up and do things differently. Like, throw a pitch. Like, stop sitting there waiting for the pitch count to go. And guess what, John? We may strike out. But it's worth it. And I'm not trying to focus on wine, but you got me going. Like, what an incredible gift you have in your backyard. And all we can do is sponsor a talk? Come on. Or tell me if you disagree.
No, and I love the fact that you're going all in on baseball now that it's April and
Yes.
the America's pastime is happening. But you're right that here is a unique opportunity of a relevant platform that is attracting people from certainly the entertainment world, Southern California and beyond. But we're nervous about getting into it. I'm hopeful that not only locals, but people that are coming to the valley hear about this, decide to come here that weekend in April, where they're going to do this for 4 days. They're providing different opportunities for many more, not just the wine industry, but other businesses to step up and say, hey, when you're doing your midday break, make sure that these restaurants, your guests know, come to our restaurants and you have an opportunity to experience something. And we know that you're going to go back to have this StreamFest experience. Yeah. Integrate it with the rest of downtown Napa, because that's really where the focus is. But I think it's going to be good for all of Napa. This is going to represent a different audience and get different eyeballs on what's going on here.
I completely agree. So I wish them all the success.
Cheers.
Cheers.